Every year, millions of Christians around the world prepare themselves for Easter by marking the season of Lent. For me, I grew up in a Christian tradition that didn't recognise Lent, so I never fully appreciated the opportunity to have a season of walking with God in anticipation, reflection, and humility. So this Lent, I'm excited that Common Grace and the Bible Society are inviting us to create space in our lives as we journey together through a central teaching of Jesus' ministry. Early in the Gospel of Matthew, we see Jesus retreat to a mountain with his disciples. Here, as they sit at his feet, he teaches them about life in the kingdom of God and the radical discipleship they were being called to as his followers. The Sermon on the Mount begins in a powerful way, in a teaching we now know as the Beatitudes. For years, I've heard these Beatitudes taught as some kind of standards by which Christians are called to live. Like an ancient listicle, the 8 steps you need for blessing and happiness. But there's so much more going on in this passage than some high ideals that we're called to live by. And this Lent, we want to go deep. We want to explore this together. You see, the Beatitudes speak hope to a people oppressed who are longing for God to act. They carry with them the weight of the Old Testament prophetic expectation that God would do something to their situation. To a people who are sweltering under the heat of Roman oppression, Jesus promises that a cool change has arrived, that God has heard, that God is responding. And to those who are poor, those who are persecuted, those who are mourning, there is hope in the kingdom of God. There is relief in the kingdom of God. God has heard. During this season of Lent, we'll hear from a range of teachers across different Christian traditions as they together journey us through the Beatitudes. They will inspire us, they will move us, they will convict us, and they'll confront us as we explore how Jesus calls us to beauty, generosity, and justice in today's world. Our first video will be published on Feb 14 as the season of Lent begins. Then, every 5 days after that, we'll look at a new Beatitude, and we'll have some daily Bible readings, as well as opportunities for spiritual practices that will help you explore each of these Beatitudes more deeply. The best way to follow along is to sign up on our website. That way you'll get updates in your email throughout the 40 days of Lent. When Jesus first taught these words on the mountain, his disciples gathered around him. Today we gather in slightly different ways, but the invitation is the same. Let's take the posture of the disciples sitting at Jesus' feet. Let's create space in our lives to listen to people teach from diverse backgrounds. And let's prepare ourselves with a sense of humility and expectation as Jesus takes us through the Beatitudes and we learn more about what life in the kingdom of God is all about.